All right. Well, hello, everyone. This is Brian Zimmerman, host of the Jazziz Last Call. We are joining you on Tuesday, June 2nd, during a time of grief and indignation that, in many unfortunate ways, is not so unprecedented. We want to stand in solidarity with our colleagues in the music industry in observation of Blackout Tuesday. Many record labels and music venues have abstained from conducting business today as a sign of respect to the ongoing fight against racism and police brutality, and to show support for those protesting against the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and countless others. We want to honor that silence and to participate in that pause, which is why we will not be presenting a musical performance on the show tonight. And yet, as we acknowledge that silence, we also want to acknowledge the voices of the unheard, whose words now stand to resonate even louder, which is why we have invited William Parker and Patricia Nicholson Parker, founders of Vision Fest and Arts for Art, organizations that use improvisation, which is the language that we in the jazz industry speak, as a way to express a larger, more positive American dream of inclusion and freedom. They are musicians, artists, activists, writers, poets, and they're here to share some of their own poetry and to read passages of others that they felt spoke to these turbulent times. You know, poetry is often described as that which can express feelings that ordinary prose, ordinary text cannot. We're surrounded by a lot of text right now, and I felt, we all felt that the poetry that William and Patricia are going to share tonight can speak to something larger. So Patricia and William are here, and I understand we're going to bring them in now. Hello, Patricia. Hello, William.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you too. Thank you again so much for being here, you know, in what are turbulent times, to share these poems. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say before I read that this is an ongoing situation of the inequality, the racism, the greed. All this is ongoing, and these poems that I'm reading of mine are not new. I wrote them a while ago, maybe some of them a year ago, some of them 2 years ago, some of them longer. All right, so I'm going to start with Revolution, Resurrection, a love song. We walk through time, scathed by 1,000 incidents, shaped by storms and worn down by an incessant turning of a revolutionary dial. But what has changed? A love song lived for a lifetime, passing through, passing by, loving. Loving in the moment, unraveling like a ball of string, waiting for the heart to be revealed like the pearl in the oyster. So uncommon. And the water washes over, but the annoyance of a grain of sand creates the jewel. Will annoyance of 10 million lies create something to be sought, something rare? We are only passing through, a temporary stay in an infinite time. The truth of all the moments hidden by the wrath of a temporary present, dominated by the caricatures, the soulless leaders. The peacemakers are shell-shocked. Rise up, all of you creative blossoms. Lead the way with a spirit to overcome this dark. Bright light shine the way. Let us walk in the way of lotus flowers. Walk in fearless truth, so that truth can shine with love in its wake. And where we are weak, let the spirit of love give us strength.
This reading is from Crumbling in the shadows is Fraulein Miller's Stale Cake. Some notes I wrote for a box set of mine, a solo bass. Passage 15, commentary. Music is the system of perfection that radiates throughout all life. Music is everywhere in the hearts of all souls. The fundamental chant, guided by the curtain of lights at the top of the sea, the darkness of space where world ends and where light begins. The shadow from this light shapes the future of yesterday. See the shape of hope as it fades down into the eastern sky. I wish things were just things again, like the old days when there were only flowers and memories, before progress was born, before treaties had to be made and broken and then thrown into a bag full of strange melodies and stolen from the mountains of West Africa, smuggled to be played on the Ed Sullivan Show, advertised as salvation for the Western Hemisphere. The sky is full of pastoral branches held together by the songs of Little Walter, Little Willie, and Louis Armstrong. Keep them close to your heart. A slow waltz appears in the corner of the moon. Out of my right ear, I see charcoal flowers. A homeless millionaire is asking for sips of water. The 3/4 K bass is looking for the hands of Scotty Holt, again popping up after all these years outside this Bronx department of the exile writers who are hiding from the cops. I first saw Lemmy Caution when I was 11, then Bang gave me the book and I wrote the tune. Now this, the voice over the phone sounded like a true hero. I wanted to cry, but the tears did not come, or maybe they came too quickly. The voice jumped over the fence from present into the past, finding a way to the music called creative music, improvisation, and composition, ending up at one time or another in New York City, the Big Apple, the hub of everything, of what's happening now and what will happen tomorrow. Why are you playing and living the musical life when the country you live in hates art? It's time to unite in an effort to change things. It cannot go on like this. Music must be played to be developed to reach its essential core. Young musicians are given a degree from the school in music, yet there are no multidimensional cultural centers in the biggest cities in the world to accommodate them. If America is not developed culturally, music, dance, poetry, art will die. All I see is tall buildings going up everywhere. All I see in New York is tall buildings going up everywhere. Who will live in these buildings? Who makes the deals with the realtors to build? What is being done for the people besides subway and gas prices going up? It is time to demand buildings for music in every neighborhood. There should be a cultural center. Wherever you see the golden arches, there should be a music and art center. The government must be told this. They don't know what human beings need to reach their full potential, or maybe they know too well. And if they know, then why do they not keep these things from us? Why do they treat us this way? If I didn't know better, I would think they don't like us. When my cousin was 18 years old, he was arrested. His lawyers appointed by the state said, plead guilty, plead guilty, plead guilty. We have to make a quota. It is a calculated effort to dumb society to keep these things going, to stimulate anti-life. I'll let you do the math on that one. What I'm asking from you is to wake up, to strike, to demonstrate, to write letters, to sign petitions, and play music at benefits. It's not about give me a gig. It's about the future of the music and the future of the world. If it is up to some people, there will be no art in the future. It is a role of the artist to incite spiritual, political, and social revolution. It is raining rose petals, so the ground is soft and fragrant. I see a forest where only black trees with yellow and purple fruit grow, trees that play violins and refuse to be cut down. This is a recurring dream. But each night, a small lantern is left on the porch so I can make my way back home. How I wish for those days when nothing existed except Booker Irwin and that happy fellow, I think he was called Jackie Byard, who played the big piano on the side of Manhattan.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for reading those. Sorry, Patricia.
Yeah. Can I read another one?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Washed in the river of everyone's misery, washed in the river, light in the distance, a mirage. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. The river bed is paved with gold flakes. Nothing is real. Washed in the river of illusions, fireflies, constellations of stars and moons all over the sky, invisible in the noise of fluorescent bulbs popping incessantly, refuse of dreams, leftover school lunchroom meals that never satisfy the discriminating mind, never satisfy. Oh, what is left has left, has left. Or what is left has left, has left, or lies hidden in the margins, while the lies are burning through, creating the river of illusion, where the red hats are bathing. Here the red hats bathe. They come out with guns ablazing. This is a Wild West show. The gangsters have bought the mayor and the governor, and the perverted orange man is head of state. Their cry is a blasphemy of all they claim to be, and everyone lies and everyone dies in a hail of bullets, shot by the guns of self-righteousness, and they are all fully loaded. And morning refuses to dawn, and morning refuses to dawn. The hearts that can still feel are crying tears. Perhaps healing may be found in these tears. Healing may be found in tears, but there is much running around, wringing hands, and laughter to prop you up, keeping busy, hoping that work will bear fruit, hoping to stop the flood before it's too late, before it's too late. The hearts that can feel are crying. Healing may be found in tears that melt the ingratitude for all that is sacred, freely given, then tossed aside. Yet peace is found where love is, and miracles exist. Despite the wicked, they are found where least expected. Who knows where? Who knows where? Where we know not is where we must walk, standing in our own shoes, alone. But we were never alone. The river of illusion is illusion, but the refuse of lies is the river of pain.
I'm going to read one more. This is called Why. Little kid walking down the street with his grandfather. Trees are humming some spirituals, and he hears this sound and it goes upward. And the sound turns into angel wings and flies up to commune with birds. And he says, why? Grandpa, why can't good people run the world? Why can't good people run the world? Why does it have to be some kind of gangster or thug who's made a pact with the devil? Changes have to be made, Grandpa. We have to make the changes. But we have to make them without killing anybody in the process. That's the difficult part. Grandpa said, oh, it's not so difficult. You see, the good people want to write poems and dance and play music and water the plants and take care of the trees and take care of the earth. You see, they realize that the greatest power is the power of love, not greed. So that's a good one, grandson. Why can't good people, why don't good people run the world? Maybe when you grow up, you can run the world. Maybe so, Grandpa. Maybe so.
The sky is beautiful. It never ends. It goes on forever, ever changing. Sky paintings to dream upon. An expanse of blue and white till nighttime falls. Darkness lit by star candles and moon globes. Morning, when the sky lays herself out without the covering of cloud, and pale rose the sun peeks out from a sea or a mountain top, always promising hope, diffused with love. Why bother to describe a sunset when each one startles with its astonishment of colors that leave us in wonderment, that remind us of God? The sky is beautiful. It never ends. Like God herself, never-ending mystery, answers all with beauty and inspires awe, no matter what, with stillness and wonder, challenging us to peace. With stillness and wonder, challenging us to peace. With lightning and wind, inspiring us to awe, inspiring us to awe and peace, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what.
A challenge to peace. Yeah. I love that. Beautiful. And I understand you've also chosen some passages that you'd like to read.
All right. I have something by Rahsaan Roland Kirk. As I figure everyone knows, they can look up James Baldwin, they can look up Martin Luther King, they can look up Malcolm X. I thought Rahsaan Roland Kirk, From Old Rugged Cross. This is the text of on the record. I think blackness, something like that. Now a whole lot of things been bothering me because a lot of people think that things is cool. People riding around in those cars and riding them airplanes, pocket full of money, and everybody think that things is cool. Even old job present accident, would make you think that things is cool. But I'm here to tell y'all, and him too, that we got a cross that we must bear, and the cross gets awful heavy. Now there's the black cross, the green cross, the white cross, the double cross, the crisscross, and the lost cross. And the cross gets awful heavy at different times. But one is supposed to keep on going on and carrying the cross on his shoulder, because you ain't supposed to let no one cross you up. You're supposed to let a cross help you get across. I had more of that poem somewhere, but That's what I have in front of me.
No, thank you.
And then there's something from Cecil Taylor.
Hmm.
And this is like, this was from a panel discussion at Bennington College in 1964. And I just took out a part where it starts with a woman from the audience says, "Can you make a statement about the future of jazz? I mean, as the Negro community, in your eyes, where changes all become integrated into the society, then what will happen to jazz if the impetus is taken away from you? What is going to happen?" And Cecil Taylor responds, "That's a good question. The only problem is that I'm already saved, that I am integrated. I am integrated, and it's your problem. It's not my problem, because I exist. I know what I am supposed not to know. Everything that exists in America, art-wise, is for me to get what I can get out of it and to bring it to that mode of expression that is most pertinent to my existence, which happens to be what some people call jazz. But there is not going to be any change because you can't see that I'm integrated. You can't recognize that, like, as a human being, my father took home, well, say, $3,500 a year, different economy. And your father took home $5,800 a year. And I'm saying that economic difference that creates, that meant a completely different world. And one things I haven't talked about, which is very important, is why is that in the subculture that the so-called Negro has, that when he takes the initiative, either as Southern students have done or as jazzmen have been doing, that everyone gets alarmed. Oh, we have Polish folk music. We have Jewish folk music. We have, Balinesian folk music. No one's upset about that. What is it that you want now that you didn't want before? What has all of a sudden become so important now that you wish to ignore before? I think you have to ask that question. I think you have to bend aside, to see me just as a man and let me have the cultural things that I don't deny you to have. Let me have music. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. They exist simultaneously together. The only time that really, integration is like for people to just recognize that they're people and they have culturally, historically, certain preferences, certain habits. It doesn't mean that they are better or worse, that they are less or more. Why deny them? Now, Africa is your problem because the white people have been the ones who've been exploiting and tearing down and killing. And before them it was some other people, So like, it's your guilt and it's your problem to have to work out. But don't deny me what is mine. And I'm not denying what is yours. I am saying that there is one advantage that one has in being a so-called Negro, that if one gets out of the gutter, one can see everything from a different points of view. One can assimilate everything because one knows where one is, which up until recently has not been interesting. I'm saying that people who have enmeshed in situations of subjugation and have to find ways to project their dignity as human beings in spite of all the efforts of those around them to degrade them. I'm saying that this music is the manifestation of the dignity in the life that has always been present, and it has always been present in any art. The joy, the sorrow, music. So.
Wow. I never heard that before. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Powerful and resonant,
Yeah, it's why even in the presentation of when we present music, it feels imperative to me that one seriously deals with the racial issue always. And you can't tell me that, well, yeah, but now it's more white music. You can't say that. That's just not, that's denying everything.
Absolutely. William, did you have a piece you'd like to close with, or?
I don't really have any quotes from anybody, but let's see if I have a short piece here.
Oh, your poems are beautiful.
Okay, this is again from this Crumbling in the Shadows is Fraulein Muller's Stale Cake, a solo bass box set. And this is called Painter's Winter. Painter's Winter. Blue, red, and yellow snowflakes fall from a beautiful purple sky. A mysterious stranger periodically crosses the strata, playing shakuhachi. Every sound he makes is saving a life somewhere in the world. The painter slowly asks the colors for permission to use them, knowing that the right combination would end the long war. There is no such thing as a flattered fifth. There are only bodies floating in the water. 800,000 Tutsis were killed. Jesus tried to save the world, but the world did not respond. His face, full of another kind of tear, could not save it. Those who hire others to toil never hear the voice of the deep brown purple soil. Sending some young kids named Tex and Luther and Bobby to war, telling them that they can be all they can be if they join the army by killing the enemy. When they arrive, they meet people like Rabi, which means sweet wind, and Anan, which means clouds, and Kabin, which means morning dew, and Asia, which means hope. And they are all under 10 years old.
Wow. Well, thank you to you both, obviously, for being here tonight, for sharing these poems to, express what cannot be expressed sometimes, through words alone, through prose alone. And we sincerely appreciate it. And for everything you do with Vision Fest and Arts for Art, which, as you say, is using improvisation, which is the language of jazz, as a way to express a larger, more positive American dream of inclusion and freedom. So many people who are supporting Blackout Tuesday are also making donations to Color of Change, which is an organization that, continues this ongoing fight against racism and injustice. And for those of you watching, if you'd like to do the same, we certainly encourage you to at colorofchange.org. The Jazz Foundation of America is, another organization that is helping musicians, especially during, again, these turbulent times that in so many unfortunate ways are not unprecedented. So sincerely, thank you to you both for being here and for sharing those poems.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
So yeah, thank you again to tonight's guests, William Parker and Patricia Nicholson Parker. Thank you everyone for watching. That will be all for tonight's show. We will see you tomorrow. Good night.